Evening. Good morning. So here we go. All right. Well, we're just going to start. Good morning. Good morning. Good afternoon. Good evening. Wherever you are, my name is Kenny Boyd Macwa, Standing Bear Soda, Tribe Fishing Lake First Nation, Saskatchewan, Canada, Treaty 4 Territory, Anishinaabe, 60 Scoop Survivor, published author, and welcome to We Are the Medicine Circle, which really implies that we are the Medicine Circle. Really implies that no one's in charge here, so no one's in charge here. It may appear on the outside that I'm leaving this thing. I am absolutely not leaving this thing. I am in the service of this circle, and I'm in the service of Kitchi Manitou, the Great Spirit. So I'm sitting in the same circle with you. That's kind of how that looks. I'm not from. This is not a patriarchy thing. This is none of that. So I'm very honored and privileged to be here with you. Happy Tuesday, everyone. It's July 11th, and yeah. And more importantly, the most important thing we say all morning, evening, afternoon, if no one said that, they love you today. I love you very much, which really simply means, and I want you to live your very best life, be the very best version of you. And we do that every day. We cultivate that every day with very beautiful and intentional prayers. So thank you for that. Thank you for joining us. A couple of housekeeping things here before we really start in earnest. Connections, there might be a little lag in the audio. It was really weird the other day. Is the only issues we had were coming off two platforms. The only issue we had was with Facebook. Like one was doing this and the other was live, right? So, and it's coming from the same source, the same Wi-Fi thing right here. So that was really weird. But so anyway, like if there's a little lag or a little, if somebody gets frozen, just know that I'm not going anywhere. Just know that that if I get kicked off, if I get kicked off, I'm going to hit that live button again. We're going to pick up right where we left off, and then we're going to finish out the hour-ish. Once again, we're coming off two platforms. We're coming off of YouTube, Standing Bear, the author. If you want to we're streaming live from there. That's what that means. That was a question yesterday. So, well, what do you mean coming from live? Well, that's what we mean. So go, please like and subscribe. Also, all the episodes, all the circles, meditations that we do here are libraried over there. So if you have any questions, any kind of thing, or just want something to do, or do some more prayer and meditation, just go over there and find the Standing Bear, the offer, and just go through. There's a whole library of of um, of what we do here. The circles there. We do it by date also, so you can just kind of write down and yeah. So also tagging, we got a new tag list going on there. So there's probably 170 people on there. So I do not guarantee that I will tag you every time. So that's the way that is. There was a question there. Also, if you do manage to get tagged, happens every time. Happens every time. You get notifications every time somebody comments. There is a little, so just so you know, and we re-up this about 3, 4, 5, 6 months, something like that. So So there's a little icon. There's a 3 little dot icon. Like if you look right here, on every post, you can turn off the notifications. You don't need to get uh, eventually someone, and it happened a couple months ago, someone got really mad at me because they kept on getting notified. So just know that if you volunteer for getting tagged, then that's kind of that's what you do. And also, if you don't want to get tagged, and just feel free to tell me, and that's fine too. So anyway, enough of that. So let us begin in the usual way here. And if you'd like to join us too, that would be good. And remember the prayer from the grandmother out in Vancouver, British Columbia. She suggested that we keep this smoke going throughout the entire meditation in remembrance for honoring, loving the residential school children who have never come home. So that's a really beautiful prayer. When the grandmother does that, requests that, it's no longer a request kind of thing. It's just kind of like a gentle, I think you should do this. That's what that means when the grandmother does that. So anyway, let's get a little volunteer. Give me a little heart. Give me a little thumbs up. If you just a little smoke. It doesn't have to be like any more than this right here. So just a little smoke, just kind of going. And I realize, we are a virtual circle, but Spirit understands that we are a circle nonetheless. So that's what that means. So. Got the sponge this morning myself. So, all right. Let us begin in the usual way. Little pinch of tobacco, a little help from above. The old one said, if it does begin with prayer, then it doesn't begin. If it doesn't begin with spirit, then it doesn't begin. And I would just add, if it doesn't begin with offering, then it doesn't begin. So let us begin in a good and beautiful way. And then, Kitchi Manitou, Creator, Great Spirit, Chi Megwich for our breath, Chi Megwich for our circle, Chi Megwich for our day, Chi Megwich for our life. We are grateful for our last breath, and we are hopeful for our next, and we live in that place in between. We come here today. We mean no harm in what we do. We mean no harm in what we do. We come here in a good way, humble way, and sacred way. We may come for a lot of reasons, but the first reason always is life. Life. Not just my life, not just your life, but our life. The celebration of all nations, tribes, and circles, as if we were celebrating in ourselves, which we are. Like the standing nations, the ones that offer the world breath, we say thank you. To the swimming nations, the ones who teach us how to live in harmony and balance with the water, we say thank you. To the wind nations, the ones who teach us how to live in harmony and balance with the wind and air, we say thank you. To the creepy crawlies and the slitheries, the ones who teach us how to stay close and grounded to Mother Earth, we say thank you. To the four-legged nations, circles, and tribes, for we understand that you offer us and teach us so much about our humanity, we say thank you. We say thank you. And of course, to other two-legged nations, circles, and tribes, all two-legged nations, circles, and tribes, for we understand that you are our teachers as well, and it makes our ears and hearts very happy. We come here today. We give prayers of life and love and gratitude to those things that give us life: air, water, fire, earth. We give thanks to the seven directions, for we understand that love, wisdom, and life comes from all directions, like the wind. It's what the wind teaches us. We give thanks for those who have come before us, our ancestors. And remember, if they are our relatives here, which all life is, they are our relatives over there. They are our ancestors. They're the first fox and beaver and wolf and bear and buffalo. They are also our ancestors too. They have 7 generations before, and they have the next 7 generations ahead, just like we do. And they held truth. They held true to their prayer. That is their offering to us. That is what they're teaching us. They held their prayer accordance to spiritual and natural law. That is what we have been offered from them. That is what we have been given. That is the gift that they are giving to us. So we say thank you to the ancestors. We say thank you for the sunrise to bring those ancestors back into our hearts. And we also acknowledge and understand that some of our 2-legged ancestors were hurt, wounded, abused, and traumatized, and that they passed those wounds along to us. And we realize this is a time of great healing. And during that process of healing, there's mourning and loss and grieving. And we also understand the more that we heal, the more we understand that their wounds and hurts were not for us to carry, but for us to heal. And not just for us, because that would be selfish. We want to be selfless. We don't do this ever for ourselves. We do this for the next 7 generations. Well, we are at the intersection between 2 unseen worlds, but they hear and see everything that we do. That's what the ancestors have told us. It doesn't have to be the way it's always been. We can break those chains. The chains of violence and lateral violence. Drugs and drinking, we can break those chains, and we can start acting like brothers and sisters. That's the prayer. We can all acting like one beautiful family. That's the prayer. That prayer of harmony and balance at the center of the universe, the one that has been offered to us and still offered to us by those who have come before us, because they remember this. And along this, our journey, there's a path, a well-worn path, but one we can only see with our hearts. It is called the Red Road. The road of wellness, the road of unity, the road of harmony and balance. And that the Red Nation, the indigenous people of Turtle Island, we do not own this road. We are stewards of this road. We are guardians of this road and this path, so that you and all other life may live a good life. And there are teachings along this path, the 7 teachings: humility, love, truth, honesty, wisdom, respect, and courage. So let us make good relations with all life, both seen and unseen. Let's sit down in circle today, and let us sit with humility. Humility says that we are brothers and sisters, something that we have forgotten here. So let us sit today and let us do better. We are not bad people becoming good, but we are becoming healthy together. So let us do a little better than we did yesterday. Let us be better people. Let us use kind words to each other today. That is the real sound healing. Let us encourage each other. Let the masculine encourage the feminine, and the feminine encourage the masculine. Let us lift each other up instead of break each other down. These are natural laws and natural truths. hope is the more we do this, the prayer is the more we do this, the more we will remember the first prayer at the center of the universe, the first fire that ever was. Harmony and balance, the ancient sacred agreements of harmony and balance. Oh, all right. Okay, well, good one this morning. All right, we got a good one. Once again, my name's Kaneem Poet Mac Wass, Standing Bear, Soda, Tribe Fishing Lake First Nation, Saskatchewan, Canada, Treaty 4 Territory, Anishinaabe, 60s group survivor, published author. And again, I just feel like saying this again, man. If no one said that they love you today, I love you very much. Which again just means I just want you to live a really good life, you know. And we can't do it alone, but we can do that together. That's really a beautiful thing. Okay, a couple things before we start in earnest. We talk about hollow bones, and so hollow bones. Would love to hear your definition. Make that offering. There was a comment. I think it was in the feed, or maybe it was in my messages. Hey, can you encourage us to comment more? And I'm like, well, okay, so here's your chance to comment more. Love you guys. So hollow bones. So put your definition of hollow bones, and remember the teaching here. This is not about right or wrong, good or bad. So if you've been here for 3 days or 3 minutes or 3 months or 3 decades, does not matter. We are all equal here. That means your comments are equal too, right? I mean, just good, bad, worse, better. We leave that conversation at the door. We can pick that up on the way out of here from this circle, and it leads you to some different places, not places that I would choose to go, but yeah, if you want to choose that, that's fine. Hollow bones. We know there's a life force out there. We want to. The illusion is, and like here's the deeper teaching. The illusion is that we're separated from that life force, which really we're not, because we're talking, we're present, we're here. So the life force we're talking about is already within us. So the illusion is that the illusion of separation, right? So, but the thing is, we live in a colonial world that says that everything is separated. The squirrels, the beavers, the wolves, the bears, the butterflies, they're all separate from us. But in actuality, they are medicine force. They are, in fact, our greatest teachers. So that's the hollow bones prayer to show that they are our teachers. We want to attach to that teaching, and then the colonial world would say we want to stop there, that we only do this for us, me only. And that's the first half. The second half is we offer prayers, we offer life, and that you can write down. I need you to write that down. That means, just like the opening prayer, we're supposed to encourage and help each other. That's what that means, right? We're supposed to help each other. And that doesn't mean help only the two-legged, right? You know, like, and that means help Mother Earth, help the water, sit by the water and pray, sit by the fire and pray, give thank you to the water, thank you to the fire, thank you to the air, thank you to Mother Earth, make offerings of love and gratitude. That's what that means, right? That's what that means. So all right, ancestors and elders. So very traditional for us to thank those who have come before us, our ancestors, and this is kind of like a direct thing. So we're really speaking specifically, say that 10 times fast, speaking specifically to our indigenous ancestors here, the ones who were stewards of this red road when it was really dangerous to do so. You know, the colonial governments, the crown, and down in the lower 48, they did not like our spirituality. In fact, they outlawed what we are doing here. So back in the 70s, we are not, like during my lifetime, we were not allowed to do this. We were not allowed to sit in circle and talk about spiritual things, right? And and they outlawed our ceremonies, the pipe ceremonies, the medicine men. That they did all that. So, and my elder, grandfather Tony Stonehawk, he lived through all of that. So he tells stories of his grandfather and his grandfather before him going in the bush, going deep into the bush and having ceremonies, right? Illegal ceremonies. So so thank you to all the elders who carried ceremonies when it was really dangerous to do so. That is why we are here. And so thank you to my direct elder, Tony Stonehawk. Thank you to all those other men and women of medicine who carried the medicine when it was really dangerous to do so. Thank you to the Muslims and Cookums over Fishing Lake First Nation who have guided me in a really good and beautiful way. I love you. So thank you for this opportunity of life that you have provided for us. Okay, so circle medicine. Okay, no one's in front of us, no one's behind us, no one's above us, no one is below us. That means we are all equal. That's what that means, right? And this is what we look like right here. We are all intertwined and overlapping. So there's recurring themes. This is what we do. Okay, there we go. YouTubers, I love you. And Facebookers, I love you too. So this is who we are, what we are, and how we look. So we are intertwined and overlapping. This is all life. That's not just humanity. That was a comment the other day. So the buffaloes, the beavers, the bears, the wolves. This is all of us right here. This is all of us right here. And then we create that beautiful circle right there. That beautiful, beautiful circle, the sacred hoop, as my ancestors would say. So thank you for that. Okay, so the life givers, the sacred feminine, we would not be here for the life givers. We have to acknowledge that. The colonial world does not acknowledge that. You are beautiful, powerful, and sacred. Thank you for being who you are, what you are, and carrying that beautiful message, that prayer. We recognize you here as sacred beings. I don't know how many other colonial circles that you go to that recognize you as beautiful, powerful, and sacred, that you are enough, right? You know, because it's a different narrative for the sacred family. You know, you have to look like that, you have to wear all that, you have to have that, you have to that. It's like all this false narrative stuff. But over here, the medicine that you carry, the life givers, that's beautiful. That's where we start, right? And that's where this is going. A beautiful, powerful, spiritual. So thank you. Okay, so all right. So question of the day. Please keep your question. This is like the lawyer in me. It's just like you know. Please keep your questions, concerns, and comments coming. I do not guarantee I will get around to all of them, but I will get around to as many as I can. Just so you know, I really put myself out there, so I get 20, 30, 40 messages a day, right? So anyway, so if I don't get back around to you, I'm doing my very best. So, question of the day. This is a recovery-based question. What is the difference between God's will and natural law? I'll wait. Just put your thing in the comment section here. I'll wait. It's like, what's the difference between God's will and natural law? This is like coming from a 12-step AA style recovery based kind of like thinking, right? And remember, this is not good or bad, right or wrong, right? This is just the direction that they're coming from, right? So let's leave judgment and opinion at the door. So, like, my personal opinion is whenever we bring up the God word, it invokes some sort of colonial type thing, right? Some sort of colonial Christian, some sort of something like that, some sort of Messiah, Son of God, something, and that's not what we're talking about. But maybe that's what they're talking about, but I no longer use the term itself. I used to, but and now I don't really. So I align myself with spiritual, sacred, natural law, right? That's really it. That's really that's the law of the land, right? Right. Like humility, that's the law of the land, right? You don't have to be in God to walk in humility, right? You don't have to believe in God to walk in humility. That's not like one doesn't own the other, right? Right? Humility doesn't own God. God doesn't own humility. That's like ridiculous, right? So it's really two separate entities, right? So like if you want to name that, label that, that's fine. That's okay. That's okay. But the thinking is that any kind of God consciousness, right? Um, and here's like the thing also, people like to talk about like Christ consciousness. I don't label that at all. It's just consciousness. It's like that universal flow of consciousness, and it really stems to that life flow, right? That life force, right? So we're kind of back to this hollow bones thing, right? So, we want to connect to that consciousness, right? And what that consciousness is, like I don't think Mother Earth has a religion, right? I don't think Mother Earth has a God, right? It just is, right? So, who here remembers my tree story? All heart, all the time, right? All heart. I am all heart, right? Right. I think that's a beautiful, beautiful thing. That comes from that place of consciousness, right? That is reflective of natural law. That's a reflection of humility, love, truth, honesty, wisdom, and respect, right? So it aligns itself with natural law, right? So natural law, here, write this down. Natural law, humility, doesn't have a religion. It doesn't, yeah. It just is. Either we're in alignment with that or we're not, right? We're something else, right? So I would rather stay out of that debate negotiation, because then we get into that negotiating thing. Well, what is it? Who is it? Who it belongs to, kind of thing. It really, that colonial thinking really kind of oozes. It kind of opens up that door to that sick kind of spiritual thinking. Like, well, we own God. We own God. Like if you don't believe in us, you don't believe in God, type thing. And you see where I'm going with that. See where I'm going with that. It's really icky, right? Like people just went, ooh, and I'm with you, right? But natural law doesn't choose sides, right? You know, yeah. When people ask me to go speak, right? People ask me to speak a lot of places, right? And I'm going to Calgary this weekend to speak at a children's, to speak for the children, right? You know, I got a chance to speak at this unity thing, right? This trucker convoy type thing, right? Yeah. And, people would ask me, well, there's a lot of political agendas and political issues. And I said, well, what side are you on? I said, well, I'm on the side of humility. I'm on the side of truth. I'm on the side of loving you. I'm on the side of wisdom and honesty and all this stuff. I'm on the side of Mother Earth. That's the prayer that I carry. I don't choose political sides. I don't. I just don't. I, I I get it. Like if that's your thing, that's your thing. But for a guy like me, I choose to walk with humility. Humility has no sides. Right. Right. And again, once we get into that God consciousness type thing, then we start talking about like who's God, right? And I don't want to get into that debate or anything at all. So anyway, that's what that is. So please keep your questions, concerns, and comments coming. I do not guarantee that I will get around to all of them, but I will do the very best I can. Okay, so we are here at this moment. We are actually kind of early today, so celebration for that. So what we do here is we read from one or two books, both written by me. If you'd like to go out and purchase one of these, that would be good. Thank you for your support and your generosity there. What we do here is we will be reading Whispers from the Hollow Bones August 15th. So if somebody wants to put that in the feed here, that would be good. Please and thank you in advance for that. What we're going to do is we are going to read it a couple of times, develop a general impression. And again, this is not about right or wrong, good or bad. So we kind of leave that conversation at the door as we come in here and we sit. And there's like 30 people here. So, once you have one reading, we'll have 30 different opinions, right? Right. But the beautiful thing is here, and this is why we're here. This is why we talk about it every day. So 30 different people here, right? We will grow together. And it doesn't matter if you're 3 days sober, been here for 30 days or 3 decades, it does not matter. We are still going to grow together. That's the beautiful thing. That's why we're here. This is what changes the world right here. That beautiful alignment. Alignment with humility, alignment with truth, all those beautiful things. These are indigenous, Red Road. So we are the stewards of, we don't own. Spiritual teaching, so universal teaching, universal law. So that's what that is. So, all right. Mother Earth has a heritage and culture that humanity is struggling to grasp. that culture and heritage is based on her harmony, balance, and the circle of life. Wow, what does that mean? What are we even talking about? Mother Earth has a heritage and culture that humanity is struggling to grasp. That culture and heritage is based on her harmony and balance and the circle of life. Wow. Very direct, very powerful. That's my general impression, right? You know, well, let's break this down. Let's see what's and these are all beautiful teachings from the Great Spirit, right? So, um, very direct, Mother Earth. Let's start at the very beginning. You know, we are Mother Earth. Mother Earth is us, right? You know, and again, we can't talk about Mother Earth without talking about um, that colonial thinking, right? Right. And it's spiritually. Trying to put this gently. Trying to put this gently. So, um, you know, they believe in separation. They will separate us to death, right? That's what they do. And that's not good or bad. We don't have to label anything good or bad, right? So that's and in fact you can write that down, right? It doesn't have to be labeled good or bad. It just is. So sadness, loneliness, despair, anger, fear. That's everything that they have offered us. So if you feel that way, then we understand that we're feeding in that colonial world, right? Right. If everything begins with the spirit, then how do we begin? We begin with the spirit. We begin with gratitude for life. We begin with prayer. We begin not by tearing down the old, but creating the new. That's what they're saying here, right? So, so that's like the preamble to this statement right here. So the teaching behind the teaching, beyond the beyond. That's what we're doing. We're recreating the new here. A new life, a new understanding, a new circle, new love. That's what we're doing here, right? So there's some that believe we got to tear down the old, but you know, when we tear down the old, we're just as bad as what we're trying to get rid of. We become what we're trying to get rid of, which is really just not good, right? So, but everything begins gently with the spirit, right? So we can be gentle and compassionate as we knew, as we grow with the spirit, right? And that's the sneaky part of this. The beautiful, powerful, sneaky part of it is that's already the culture and heritage of Mother Earth. One season doesn't fight with the other, right? They grow. They just one day doesn't fight the other. The sunrise doesn't fight the night, right? It just naturally comes, and then it just goes like that. So what does that teach us, right? That's part of the heritage and culture that we're talking about. So what we're really talking about here is that beautiful transition, right? From one to the other. It doesn't have to look like a war. It doesn't have to, and you know, that's the thing that colonial world wants to make us really be scared. That's in there. That you know, there's a great awakening happening now. We understand that. We feel that. We hear that. You know, the consciousness, the awakening, the awareness is rising, and that colonial world is panicking, right? So they create a situation, fear, right? That is like kind of Armageddon, that is whole new world. Everything has to burn, everything has to fire. And well, that's true, but the world that's going to be burning is this in the spiritual world, that colonial world. That's the world that we. So when we raise up here, you know, that power that they have goes like that, right? But what they do is they introduce all this fear, wormwood, Armageddon. You know, it's in their books. It's kind of like, you know, it doesn't have to. That's not what it is. What is really is what's happening here is, and what's basically happening here is what they're talking about is that new gentle power rising. It's just a new consciousness and new understanding, and that's what they're talking about here. So let's jump into the reading. So Mother Earth has a heritage. Okay, what are they talking about? And culture, what are they talking about? Right? Rarely in the colonial world do we talk about this, right? Because, you know, Mother Earth has a heritage and culture, so that means a way of life. That means that social institutions, right? They do have a social institution. They have tribes. They have an educational system, right? I don't know if you know this, but Mother Earth has an educational system, and her education is all around us all day long, right? Right, right. Write that down. I love you. Right. I love you. So let's be really gentle here, right? Let's be really gentle. And we understand the colonial world. Okay, we don't need to comment anymore about that. So let's talk about you know, Mother Earth has a heritage. What is that? What does that mean? That means traditions, right? What does that mean? Okay, so traditions, like what would be a Mother Earth tradition, right? Right. Very clear in indigenous realms what that is and what that looks like. Okay, spring, that's a tradition. Right? It's a season, but it's a tradition, right? That means it happens on a regular basis, right? We celebrate that. Solstice, solstice equinox, that's a tradition, right? You know, that's a beautiful, that's a powerful, that's part of the new awakening, right? When we start celebrating, you know, we just had the summer solstice like last month. Now the days are getting shorter, right? The longest day of the year, the sun is highest in the sky for the longest amount of time. I think that's a really beautiful, powerful thing, right? You know, water is traditional. It has its own ceremonies, right? Fire has its own ceremonies. The first fire at the center of the universe is already within inside us. That's a beautiful tradition, and all these traditions are really already part of us, right? Right. And what that is, let's bring the question into this, like, natural law. We are already part of natural law. Natural law is already, we are made of natural law, right? So we're already a part of this tradition. So the illusion is what? The illusion of separation, that like Mother Earth is over there, we're over here, and you're over there, and they're over here. Well, really, our ancestors said we are all part of what? The sacred hoop, right? So the sacred, we are all intertwined and overlapping, right? Right, right. We are all intertwined and overlapping. Right? Look at that. That's what that looks like here. Everybody take a screenshot of this right here. This is what we look like here. There we go. Want my face in it or not? This is what we look like. This is who we are. Take a screenshot here. There we go. Right now. That's who we are, what we are, and what we're doing. There we go. I have to do two cameras, by the way. That's what I'm doing. So take a screenshot of that. There we go. This is who we are, what we are, exactly what we look like. We are all intertwined and overlapping, right? So this is Thomas, Nina, Wolf, like everybody. And that's such a cool thing. That's part of the culture and the heritage that we're already part of, right? you know. But again, just contrast medicine, right? You know, you know, over here in the colonial world, it's like, well, you're white, you're race, you're this, you're that. It creates the illusion of separation. But, and then it just goes beyond to this patriarchy, religious type thing. It's just ridiculous. It's like, well, man is in charge of the world. No, it's just like ridiculous. Now we are part of the world. We're not in charge of the world. We have to live in alignment with the world, which is really in alignment with the culture and heritage, the seven sacred teachings of Mother Earth, right? I love you. Right. Okay. So let's. Okay. Mother Earth has a heritage and culture that humanity is struggling to grasp. So to hold firm, to grip, to hold on to spiritually, to hold on to this. We as caretakers of the Red Road, stewards of the Red Road, we understand that this is us for holding on to, and this is us to share with the rest of humanity, the world, right? That there's a beautiful alignment, that there's a better place, right? This is a place of wellness. This is a place of wholeness. This is a place of unity, and all that you can write down. Write that down there. Write down. that the Red Road, this is all these things, right? Just because the Red Road, because you call it the Red Road doesn't mean that the indigenous people of Turtle Island, own the Red Road. Again, we're just stewards of this Red Road. Um, Mother Earth has a heritage, social, culture. So let's talk about that. Social, right? You know, like if we leave, like you go to the Oxford Dictionary, which is the most colonial dictionary that you can go to. Like it's really, and it's really wrong, right? It's just not. It's twisted in the way that they see and they view the world, but they do that to manipulate and to control us. That's just what it is. So they talk about social institutions. Well, you know, let's talk about that in Mother Earth realms, right? There are institutions already in, the wolf has a social institution, right? Let's talk about that. And what is that? That's humility, right? That's finding our place in the circle. So we are engaging this, we are restructuring this in alignment with spiritual law, and that's all we're doing. And the first place it has to go is in our hearts, right? We have to spiritually understand this, right? We find our own place in the circle, right? That means we find that our value there. That means that we understand that each and every one of us is unique, right? So Anne, Sybil, Kimberly, um, Peg, Wolf, we are unique in nature. We are part of nature, but we are unique in nature, right? Okay, so that means that because we are unique, write this down, that we have something that no one else has to offer, right? Okay, that's part of our value, right? Okay, well, I have something that, I didn't know that, right? Right. So the colonial education, and this is just contrast mentioned, that colonial education doesn't see that, right? It wants to align us, indoctrinate us into their thinking, when really uh, spiritual thinking is that we are all beautiful, powerful, special, unique, and we all have something to offer. What? Mother Earth, that nobody else has. Humanity, nobody else has. Right? So that means, so in a broad term, that some of us are artists, some of us are speakers, some of us love music, some of us are, some of us do great be. I can't do this. I can't do this. I can write, but I can't do that. See, so the person that did this, that's their beautiful, beautiful gift, right? And the beautiful thing is, we all have a beautiful gift, and you know what? Every day that we're alive, and like while we're talking about culture and heritage, that the part of our culture and heritage is the understanding that every day that there's a beautiful gift for us to find, to nurture, to walk with, to understand, to draw closer to, and beginning with Mother Earth, right? So she has offered herself to us, and that's a beautiful thing, right? That's just wow. It's really good to be here. It's really good to be alive. It's really good to say, you know what, Daniela, Peg, Wolf, Sybil, I love you today. I just love it. I just want you to live a really good life. You see, that's part of the culture and the heritage that we're talking about. And that's really what the colonial world, that's really what they're talking about here, struggling to grasp. What they're talking about is the colonial world. And it's not struggling, it's really a place of refusal, and that's really a delicate way. That's a really delicate way to, we can use some other, words, let's not go there, but they're really refusing to what? To acknowledge that we are powerful and beautiful and sacred human beings, right? And if you don't know that you're powerful and sacred and beautiful, then I don't know, stay here a little longer, right? Stay here a little bit longer. Stay here until you have that moment. And there's people here in this circle that have had that aha moment, like, oh my God, I am. And I can remember my path along this red road is, when I got here, I couldn't take a sober breath, right? I was struggling, I was fighting, I was incarcerated, I was doing all that stuff. And then I would just go to this guy named Grandfather Tony Soho. I didn't understand why I was going to him in the beginning, but there was something there. And then he said, well, you have something there that nobody else has to offer them. Like, because of, the orphanage, the the foster care system, they don't nurture that. They don't nurture that there, right? They nurture something else, right? And then I was adopted, and people think that was a really good thing. It was just another home. I had to survive, right? I didn't know these people; they were white. So again, I had to survive these like white people. So my instinct was I had to survive you, right? You know, but in actuality, they gave me a really good life. They gave me plenty of opportunities, but I came from such a hurt place. So that developed into some wounds, some drinking and all that. And then I started walking the red road, and then I started to discover that Grandfather Tony knew what he was talking about when he said, look, we all have beauty, right? We all have beauty, right? To discover our beauty is a magical thing. And this is what, to write that down, And again, that beauty begins on the inside, right? That colonial world, it's on the outside, right? So you have to look this, buy this, how much is my money, you have to be this race, you have to be, in order for you to be beautiful, right? These are the terms, right? Well, Mother Earth doesn't have those terms. It has something else. It has a culture that says that you are already beautiful. Now you can write down, you were already beautiful, you were already sacred. How about that, right? And then I started to believe that. I started to see that, right? I said, oh my God, this. And that's really when my life really began, right? It was like, oh my God, that I'm not ugly like that colonial world told us, right? The colonial world tells me in the indigenous world that we're ugly, right? Every single one of us is ugly, right? Right. Right. But over here in spiritual realms, we understand that we find our beauty, we find our power, we find our voice. We find out how to listen in a sacred way, to listen to those sacred things, right? In a sacred way. And with those sacred things is part of the heritage and culture, right? Right. And understand, and let's just say this before, what time is it? Okay, one good time. So, and understanding this is part of our journey, taking that and write this down. Understanding that this journey that we're on, it is gentle. It's gentle, right? Right? It doesn't have to be all this stuff. It's really just relinquishing, you know, that colonial world. Right? So we just start living a new life. You see, the spring and the summer, they don't fight. Right? There's just that beautiful transition one that teaches us as part of, again, walking with that culture, right? Walking with, my thing is, coming from violence, drinking, and drugs, there was that beautiful transition into one day. I just didn't think about it, right? That's how beautiful that is, right? I just didn't think about it one day, right? It just wasn't there, right? Because there's an alignment there that wasn't there before, right? When we sit by the fire, when we pray, when we make offerings, when we set that beautiful intention to alignment, guess what happens? We remember that we are aligned, right? That's using. So it's knowing it's there and then using that to our benefit, right? That's what we're doing, right? I'm not sure if we're talking about the reading anymore. We're talking about the reading anymore. I love you guys. The way I go like this sometimes, man, it's just like, okay, can we get back to the reading scene? Let's get back to the reading. Okay, so Mother Earth has a culture, and Mother Earth has a heritage and culture that humanity is struggling to grasp. Okay, so it's kind of, so we just talked about the individual, kind of adding yourself. The culture and heritage is, culture and heritage is based, okay, on her sacred feminine, right there, sacred feminine, right? So nurturing. That's why we acknowledge the sacred feminine in the very beginning, because we need that to live a good, successful life. Nurturing, gentleness, compassion, a lot of those things that they don't teach us men to do. That is a necessary part of what? understanding the culture and heritage, harmony and balance, which is the original prayer at the center of the universe. I love you. That's at the center of the universe also. When we say that, when we say I love you, then then we remind ourselves that we are part of something beautiful. That's why we should say that all the time, right? Not as a place of conceit, but a place of connection, right? Write that down, right? So, okay, I love you. So the culture and heritage, uh, again, the seasons. Like we don't have to fight the seasons, right? You know, you know, we don't have to fight the colonial system. We have to just recreate the new one already within us, right? Right. So there has to be no wreckage. It doesn't have to be a war, right? That colonial war lets you create and honor war, like the warriors, right? We don't need to do that. We just need to come here and understand very beautifully, very powerfully that gentle light that creates that change is already within us. That's all part of the definition of based right there, right? We are based in love. We are based in that beautiful prayer, at the center of the universe, the first prayer that ever was, right? Of harmony and balance. We're already that. We just need to recognize that, right? So we need to step out of that world and we need to start recognizing, and that's really what we're doing. We're recognizing this new beautiful world that we are a part of. You know what? This is pretty, I like that moment. You ever sit by the fire? Next time you go sit by the fire, make a like an offering of just gratitude, right? So the physical has to match the spiritual, right? So that's why we do that. So then we make an offering, just say gratitude, say thank you, man, and if we want to start, we talked about this yesterday, like if we want to start, the sunrise is a great time to do that because the old ones say the veil is thinnest at sunrise and sunset. So, and you know what? And I don't talk about this enough. We're gratitude in the morning and thank yous at night. Right here, write that one down. So, and it's something that I do all the time. When I lay down in bed at night, I just say thank you, man. I just thank you, and it wasn't always like that, right? But back in the day, I would think about all the carnage that I did and that I created, all the chaos and crisis that I was involved in, right? Just kind of like, I shouldn't have said that. I should have called a drug dealer. I shouldn't have said that to her. I should have showed up to work. I should, all this stuff. Where now is because there's more of alignment there. Now I just say thank you, man. I say thank you for everything. Thank you. There's food out there. Thank you that I'm healthy, right? Thank you that there's people out there that love me, that really want the very best for me, right? People that don't want to take from me, that just, hey, listen, man, I just want you to live a really good life, Thank you for grandfather and Tony, right? Thank you for all these things, right? That's working with nature. That's working with, when we say thank you, here, write this down. When we say thank you, we're being guided by Mother Earth, right? That's something that you'll never hear in any colonial textbook, right? When we present gratitude in the morning and make our offerings, that's in alignment with Mother Earth, right? That's in alignment with the ancestors. It's the returning of not one ancestors, but all of them, right? So we welcome that, we welcome that, right? And also, let's talk about this a second. Let's talk about the imagination and where that is. So next time, and try this out and have fun with this, right? Write this, right? Go tomorrow morning, or you can go right now. You can go anytime, but the veil is thin in the morning. That's why we do that. So go in the morning, close your eyes, just say thank you, take a pinch of it, just say thank you, and imagine. I need you to imagine all the relatives returning to you. And this is a beautiful, magical thing, but we can't do it without imagination, and that's what the colonial world takes away from us. And so part of the culture and heritage of Mother Earth is using that imagination, right? And write that down, right? So they replace our imagination with their prayers, right? Like the Our Father. It's a good prayer, but hey, good. Hey, listen, it has to be full circle. So full circle is welcoming the ancestors back, right? Not just one guy, but all of them, right? Right. So imagine here, just close your eyes and just imagine the sunrise and, the buffaloes and the bears and the beavers and the wolf and all these beautiful tribes, returning to you to assist you in your life because they already are. They're waiting there for you. They are allies and partners and guides. It's not just one, it's all, right? You know, and there's a general impression out there that we have one spirit guide and one wolf or something, whatever that is, right? But really, in actuality, the deeper we look, they're all waiting there for us, right? They're all waiting, and that is beautiful, powerful, and magical. And just imagine that in your mind, and that's what that colonial world tries to take away. But when we rebuild the new, then we understand it. So do this. You know what? Let's talk about 30-day challenge. So 30-day challenges. We got some new people here. So 30-day challenge is 30-day challenge is Grandfather Tony said, hey, look, I was a couple months in, or maybe a year or two in, and then I said, Tony, what can I do to what can I I'm just like I was so nuts back then, right? I was literally insane, right? Because I was living in that colonial world, living by their goals, right? Not Mother Earth's goals, connection, but their goals, right? And I was failing miserably. I'm a terrible colonial, but terrible. I just don't live in that world. I can't, right? So anyway, so I said, Tony, what can I do? So Tony said, take this bag of tobacco, go to the sunrise every morning, and I want you to do it for 30 days, and I want you to say a prayer. And I'm like, it sounds like homework, and I don't like homework. Everything I did was sounded like, I related it to colonial thinking, right? So the part of this is separating. So when we do this, we're really separating ourselves from colonial thinking. So gratitude isn't colonial, right? It's just not a colonial thing because it's empowering. They don't try to empower us at all. They try to take away our power, right? So anyway, so let's be grateful, So at first I was really clumsy with it, right? So I like take a little pinch of tobacco and be like the first couple of days, maybe first week, I was like, okay, I don't like this. Grandpa Tony told me to come here and do this, and to be absolutely honest, I felt like a fraud. I really did. I felt like a fake. I felt like a fraud, which is what? Colonial thinking, right? So the new is colonial thinking. I didn't know that, right? So let's just work ourselves past that. Just continue to do it, right? So anyway, so I felt like, okay. And the second week was like, okay. Well, okay. Well, I would like today's over. And then the third week is like, okay, thank you this morning. Thank you for today. And thank you. Yeah. And then on day 31, I was so happy. It was like playing hooky. It was like, oh, good. I don't get to do that. And I feel good because I feel like I'm getting away with something. But in actuality, there was that voice in the back of my head that said, go ahead and do it. And do it. And I said, well, I don't want to do it. I want to get away with something, which is what? Colonial thinking, right? Anything that's good and spiritual is something that they want to take away. You can write that down, right? And, it works every time, right? So, and that's not good or bad. That's just what they do, right? So anyway, on day 31, it's about noon, and I just felt some kind of way. I felt awkward, right? That awkward. I said, Tony, man, I said, Tony, we had house phones back then. So I said, Tony, man, it was just kind of like, there's something there. And he kind of laughed the way the old ones laugh. How the old ones laugh? They go, ha, ha, ha. Go ahead and do it. And I'm like, oh my God, good. He just gave me permission to do it, right? So, so I went ahead and did it. And I said, after that, I said, well, what do I do now? I did it for 30 days, right? He said, well, keep doing it for another 30 days. And which really, I've been doing it for 28, 29 years now. It's just kind of like, it's just part of my routine in the morning. It's just that place of gratitude. Hey, look, I'm grateful to be alive, man. I'm grateful to be alive. I'm grateful that I get to come here and I get to tell you that I love you, right? That I want nothing from you other than you living a great life, right? That's what I want for 99.9% of you. I will never meet you, but that doesn't mean that I don't love you. And it doesn't mean that I don't want you to live a really good, beautiful, powerful life, right? You know, and so the 30-day challenge, that's the 30-day challenge. And that is part of what? Gratitude is a part of Mother Earth, right? Write that down. That's something the colonial world does not want you to do, right? You're not supposed to be grateful for, life, you know. In fact, they put you in spiritual debt. Like if you live in, and this is just that. So they put you in spiritual debt, right? So I went to church and they said, well, this guy died for your sins, so now you owe us, right? And I'm thinking, well, that doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense. But I was so sad and broken. I said, yeah, I'll believe anything at this point. And I'll believe that lie, right? Well, he's your Messiah. You can't live a good life without, the big white guy in the sky, and you have to beg him for everything. You have to beg. Oh God, you have to read this, and it's just like all this. Like, I said, no, thank you. Right? I said, thank you to that. Right? I said, no, thank you. And that's really all it is. You just say no, thank you, and just come here and just be like, I'm so grateful for life. I'm so grateful for the sacred feminine. I'm so grateful for water. I'm so grateful for air. I'm so grateful for all these things that give me life, right? The opening prayer is Hollow Bones, is our connection to this beautiful, beautiful life, right? And it doesn't need to be political. It doesn't mean any of that. There's no sides. The great thing is, we can live without sides, right? Right? We can live in the full circle. And once we really understand that, our life will never be the same again after that. It's just like, okay, I'm on the side of Mother Earth, and I think I'm going to stay here. I think I'm going to stay here. That means we build our personal connection with Mother Earth. That way, and when we build our connection to Mother Earth, we never have to choose sides. We just live on the side of Mother Earth, and I think that's beautiful. Thank you for the water. Just like, I'm so grateful, man. I live, next to a lake right here, man. It's like great. It's so beautiful. You're so powerful, and that's and that's a beautiful thing. And then we come here, and then I get to pray for you, and that's a beautiful thing, right? I get to pray with you and for you, and that's a beautiful thing. And that's in alignment with what? Mother Earth, right? And that, because it sounds like what? The prayer of harmony and balance. Wow. Okay. Okay. Good. I didn't know that when I got here. It was awkward. Like I'm sitting there praying to a tree and being like, just like that. See that face like that. And just like, just okay. I love you. I don't get my connection with you because that's what the colonial world doesn't want us to do. But then when we finally get there, we start making offers and we're like, oh my God, I feel something. I feel like something. I feel, happy. I feel like there's serenity, and I feel serene, right? I've never felt serene living in the colonial world. That's the deal, right? I felt judged. I felt hated. I felt in fear. I was in fear of my life when I lived in that, because that's what they do to indigenous men. They kill us, right? They kill us, right? There was a there was a study done. Men that come from the reservation, their life expectancy is 37 years old, right? We don't live a long time. We just don't. I'm 52 years old, so I've lived far past what I'm supposed to, right? That colonial world, right? They kill us. That's what they do. And because we carry a beautiful medicine, they destroy those things that carry beautiful medicine, right? And the beautiful medicine is us, is unity, is that beautiful place of power, right? So I'm not even sure if we even finished, and here's like the beautiful thing: the circle of life. They are, and write this down: the circle of life. The trees, the berries, the beavers, the foxes, the wolves, the hummingbird. They are all our teachers, right? They are all our teachers, right? They are all our teachers, right? You'll never hear that in the colonial world. They are, what you'll hear from them is they are resources, right? trees are resources. Water is we will sell you the resources that we get for free in order for us to make money. So we can get rich, and so that's where that comes from, right? But the way we change that is we create a new, better, stronger relationship, beginning with the spirit. With what? The circle of all life. And once we do that, then we become full circle, and then we find this place called harmony, balance, which is peace, serenity, right? We have come full circle, right? Serenity. We don't need to fight anything anymore. Right, that place of serenity. We don't need to fight anything anymore. And we understand that our connection was already there. Right. I love you. I'm not even sure if we talked about the reading tonight. I'm really not sure. I think we did. Did we talk about the reading? Anyway, let's move on to announcements. I might be going to Calgary on Friday. So if I do, so Saturday, Sunday, there probably won't be any circle. I will be doing some traveling here in the future. Next month, I'm going to Germany and then Hungary. It's just a short trip. It's like a two-week trip. So, again, when I do my traveling, I really want to focus on what I'm doing there. So the circle takes a little backseat to that. But if I can't get around to doing it, of course I will. So also we're planning another trip in October, November, back to France. And then the next thing, we're planning a trip to Mongolia. So I'm going to sit with the shamans there, and we're going to share the medicine, and it's kind of like an eagle condor thing, but it's kind of like going like this, right? So it's just going to really be a really beautiful time. If you'd like more information, I will get that to you when I have it. I don't have it. Sorry for the buildup. I love you guys. So we are doing, me and Denise Miller, we are doing our final journey through the seasons, September 22nd through the 24th. If you are interested in that, that is a 3-day intensive workshop where we talk about wisdom from all over the world, and how to connect to all of that beautiful, powerful wisdom from the center of the earth to the stars and Star Nation. We do a whole bunch of teachings, from anywhere. If you are interested in that, please let me know. We will get that information for you. And also, we will be coming up, my third meditation book, we will be coming up with a release date here really shortly. So they have fast-tracked Narya Living, Aster Press, that's my publisher. So we will be coming up with a release date for that. So that's really, so that's really exciting. So we just ran over again. I don't know how that happens, man. I thought we were just... I love you guys. So let's close your eyes. Let's use that imagination again. So close your eyes. The standing nation will keep it a little bit short, maybe 30 seconds. So just use your imagination. Go anywhere you want to go. Right? Imagine something beautiful, and imagine that is happening right here, right now. Okay, kept you a little short because we're running way over. My name is Kenny Poet. Oh, sorry. The final word is, sorry about that. This ceremony may end, but the ceremony in you does not end. So let's take what we lived here, learned here, loved here, and listened to here, and take it out to the four winds. That means put it right here. That means put it in that beautiful place that you have your beautiful heart space. When we put it there, we understand how beautiful and sacred we really are. If it doesn't go there, then it won't go anywhere. So let's put it there, and then let's take it out there to the four winds. Let's not be all spiritual here and not take it out there, because that's We need some help at that point. So that means hit more than that share button. That means take it out to the deli guy, take it out to the gas guy, take it out to to the coffee girl, take it out to all the. That means be kind. That means be kind. That means use kind words, no matter what. Okay, my name's Kenny McWatt, Standing Bear, and if no one said that they love you today, I love you very much. Let's have a great day. Bye bye.